What's up, guys? Welcome back to FishOfHex. My name is Travis. Today we're going to be doing my weekly rambling video, and if you're new to the channel or to this series, this is where I give you guys some one-on-one time, kind of give you some updates on the fish room, personal stuff, builds, and just kind of let you know what's been going on in my brain throughout the week, and just kind of give me some chill time with you guys. So with that said, I have quite a bit of stuff I want to talk about. Now, I do want to attempt to keep these videos under 10 minutes long just for audience retention purposes, and yeah, so we're going to try to do that. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Now, the first thing I want to talk about here is Reefapalooza, New York, which is at the end of the month, and it's going to be June 23rd and 24th. Now, I have booth 528, and I have hired on two other YouTubers, Scott from Roscoe's Reef and Billy from Billy Pipes. Hired those guys for the weekend. They're going to come help set up and sell my coral, and hopefully you guys can come out and meet us. It's going to be a pretty good time. Again, that's booth 528, and that is Reefapalooza, New York, at the end of this month. Now, when it comes to what I'll be bringing, there will be 3 tanks. I will have a $15 tank, a $20 tank, and then a mixed tank between $5 and I guess $45, something like that. Haven't really sat down and decided how I'm going to spread everything out yet, but that's really the price range I will be in for my booth. Now, we will have some equipment there, some extra stuff, used equipment, and just miscellaneous things around there. Also having Chato and that kind of stuff there. And it's just going to be one of those things that hopefully we have something you're looking for, and I'm more or less interested in having some dialogue and actually meeting you guys, and selling coral is definitely just a perk to the entire show. And yeah, we'll kind of see how it works out. I put a lot of money and effort into getting ready for the show. I bought new tanks. I'm using XR15s, got the reef link set up. Got a lot of new coral in that I usually don't get, and it's just been pretty much a balancing act between getting everything in, getting it cut up, and having it be stable while it's healing, as well as getting every other aspect of the show ready to go. It's just kind of, I will be happy when it's all done and over, I'll at least say that, and I can kind of get back to my normal schedule of what I have going on here with Fish Room and with my videos. Now, I will say in the beginning I was concerned about having that $15 to $20 tank, and the only reason for that is because of the Indo ban on coral right now. I have a feeling that all the other vendor prices might go up due to that ban, and I can tell you right now it's definitely a struggle trying to get stuff in that I'm looking for. It's just not available because we can't get coral from that part of the world right now, and I don't know how long the ban's going to be for. I get messages from people and comments, and I talk to people all the time saying, hey, it's going to be from like 2 weeks out, 30 days, 6 months to a year. I mean, no one has a set time frame on that, at least no one reputable. And it's just frustrating. And I think that a lot of vendors are feeling the heat right now, or the pressure from not being able to get those specific coral coming in that actually sell quite well. And I think that might cause people to have their prices go up. But rest assured that my prices are going to stay the same regardless of what's going on at Reefapalooza. And I'm hoping that it doesn't piss off too many people. But I'm not really here to make $1 million. I'm here to provide content and provide quality coral to those of you guys that choose to purchase from me. And I've never been about having prices too high, because I look at what I pay for things, and then I look at what I'm reselling for, and I'm still making plenty of money without having to you know, rip people off. So that's just kind of my thought process on selling corals and my prices. Now, like I said, that's going to be June 23rd and 24th at Reefapalooza, New York, and that is booth 528. Now, if you guys want to come over and hang out and kind of chit-chat for a little bit, we will have a kind of a section off to the side, not in front of the frag tanks where people will be buying coral, where we can kind of socialize. But my goal is to probably have a little get-together after Reefapalooza on Saturday, maybe for like an hour or so, for those of you who want to kind of chit-chat a little bit more than, you know, the few minutes that we'll have during the show. And it all really depends on how many people are there, how many people are in front of the booth. It's all going to be played by ear. But worst case scenario, we will set up kind of like a little get-together after Reefapalooza on Saturday, just to kind of, you know, chit-chat for a little bit. If you guys are interested in that, definitely let me know, either in the comment section or let me know at the show, and I'll get your information and we can figure all that out. All right, now that we talked about Reefapalooza, let's go ahead and move on to the 300-gallon build. Now, we are 6 months into this build, and it's not quite finished. I mean, I know it looks pretty much done, but I do have to purchase a few more things to actually consider it done, and that is 2 XR15s for the lighting and the canopy there, which would be a total of 8 XR15s and 8 T5 bulbs, and then I can consider the lighting finally done after all this time. I will be doing that within the next couple weeks or so, and then I'll give you guys an update on the lighting. I'll show you how I installed it all, power readings throughout the whole tank, and just kind of do a full in-depth video that I usually do when I add lighting to a reef tank. The next thing I have to add there is the Apex doser. Now I'm going to add that DOS or dose or however you want to say it. They say dose, but even though it's actually DOS, and to me anyways. I'm going to be getting one of those and probably putting my potassium on it, maybe my acropower. I am also doing iodine and stuff like that. Stuff that I talked about in my ICP test results. I think last week I did that video. And I am making adjustments on the tank. The phosphates are good. I'm back down to 0.06. Yeah, so it is kind of lower than I wanted, but the tank is doing fine. I just have to adjust how much I feed because I am back to my normal schedule. But then again, I have 4 more fish in there, so I just have to make adjustments. I do want my phosphates to be up just a little bit higher, but other than that, it's not really a big deal. It's doing great. On top of that, I will be adding a skimmer swabby for the Niles Quantum 300. Just because I'm so sick of lugging that giant cup upstairs. I am going to be adding a sink down here at some point, probably in the next couple months. But I am going to get the skimmer swabby because I made that DIY one for the Curve 7 on the frag system, and I love that thing. It works great. It's been, 3 or 4 months now, and it's still rocking. I just have to empty out the collection cup or container, whatever, jug, once a month, and it's good to go. So I'm going to just do the same thing on the 300 and make life a lot easier. Now, that's pretty much it when it comes to equipment for this. I will probably test some Apex stuff down the road, add some more power heads on the back wall, just miscellaneous stuff that really isn't going to dictate how successful the tank is. It's just kind of be when I have money to burn and I feel like blowing more money on a tank that already cost me more than I'm willing to even talk about right now. I probably will get some stuff down the road. But for right now, just those 3 things will take care of the tank, and we can consider the build complete. Now, when it comes to livestock and all that kind of stuff inside, I will be picking up my next batch of Acropora frags. It'll be 10 high-end named acros here that I'm picking up on Thursday or so. I will be putting them through quarantine and then getting them into the tank. Now, they are from one of my good friends around here. This guy's got one of the best Acropora tanks I've ever seen, and it is perfectly clean. I mean, I'm not worried about pests or anything like that, but I will put them through a generic quarantine period just to double check and to make sure that they're good to go before getting them into the 300 gallon. And I will have to kind of figure out where I'm going to put 10 more acro frags because there's only certain spots and par ranges that I want to have those acros in, and it's pretty full right now, and you got to think that this is going to grow out into colonies, so I have to take that in consideration when I place Acropora within the tank. Now, of course, I still have a lot of room kind of midway down to the bottom of the tank where I'm going to add more zoas, favias, and stuff like that. There's just a lot of things that I want to add here in the future. But when I get those agros in and they're all ready to go into the tank, I will do a video, show you guys how I kind of fragscape and move the rock structures around and just all that kind of stuff to show you guys what I do when it comes to adding coral and the whole process behind, or thought process behind where I put them based on how they're going to grow in the future. Now, the livestock side of things, there has been some issues with the tank. The main problem I have right now is Reggie, the snowflake eel. He hasn't eaten in about 4 weeks. He does have a bacterial infection, and I can't catch him. I've been pretty close so far. I'm going to add a trap here this week and try to get him out and into quarantine. Not sure where the infection came from. Everybody else is fine. They've gone through quarantine, no issues whatsoever. And I think it might be from some of the food that I got from him. Maybe it went bad before he ate it. I mean, who knows? The stuff did come from the grocery store. I don't really know where this infection could have came from, but his eyes are pretty cloudy. He's stretched out. Again, he hasn't eaten in 4 weeks, and he's just not doing well at all. He absolutely refuses food. Even the fish are picking on him a little bit. It's heartbreaking because I can't get him. Every day I try to get him out of that tank, and I'm going to continue either until I finally get him out of the tank or until he passes away. I really hope not. I've had him for a few years now, or at least 3 years or so, something like that. And I really love this eel. He's a great, I would say he's not a fish, but he's a great part of the tank, and I really love having him in there. And to see him suffering right now and having no ability to do anything about it sucks. I mean, I put probiotics in the tank every week in hopes that it will kind of help get him a little bit stronger so he can start eating. Nothing is helping, and it's just heartbreaking. So hopefully we can figure this out relatively quickly. Next thing we have here is the yellow tang. Karma sucks, man. He's been getting beat up pretty bad by pretty much every other tang in the tank. When I put those new tangs in there, he started bullying everybody and just being, I guess we consider a badass fish. And then the bully started getting picked on by other fish, and his fins are all messed up. But he's definitely doing better. He's not going to die. He's not going to get beat up to death. If he was going to have that happen, it would have happened already. They would have killed him if they were going to. But I think it was more or less like, hey, you were beating on me. Now I'm going to get back at you, and we can go back to our normal lives. It's kind of a little bit of an up and down process with adding tangs. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not, and then most of the time they are. It just really depends on the fish and their personality. But yeah, on top of that, I also added the 4 monos, the brackish fish that I had in quarantine. Put those guys in there. Only 4 out of the 5 made it through quarantine. And regardless, they're great fish. They're really aggressive when they eat, and I just love how they swim together. And they're just a really good addition to this tank. Now, when it comes to adding more fish to this, as I mentioned before, I will be doing the Achilles tang, the blue hippo tang, the naso tang, and there's another tang, probably the clown tang, that I'll add to this tank. And that will be it for the tang side of things. And then, of course, I want to add some more brackish fish, also anthias and stuff like that. There's just going to be probably... before the tank is completely done, I'm looking at least another 20 or 25 fish to kind of finish off the tank stocking wise. I have plenty of biological filtration. The skimmer is plenty big enough to handle any fish load or food load that I decide to put in this tank. And yeah, it's going to be good to go. It's just going to be a long process because you can only get so many in between my personal fish and client fish. I only have 6 quarantine tanks, and of course that, you know, it's a month per quarantine tank, and you can't just add fish to it, and then, you know, if you do, you have to start the process over. And so I can only add so many so quickly, and I have to quarantine. I don't know how people don't quarantine and feel that that's okay. I don't know how anybody can even do that, but regardless, I have to go through a certain procedure before I put anything into the tank, and it's just going to take me probably the next 6 to 10 months to finally finish off the stocking fish wise for this 300 gallon. All right, well, we're already at 11 minutes, and I still have a few more things I want to talk about, so we're going to run through them relatively quickly. So if you guys actually want a second rambling video, let me know, and I will do my very best to kind of finish off things in the second video. But if the one is fine, we can definitely stick with that. Now, when it comes to the frag tank here, as I mentioned in my last video when I was cutting up coral and stuff, it's definitely been a balancing act between adding all the coral. Right now, I have about 750 frags in that tank, and at least half of them have been cut within the last 3 to 4 weeks. So everything's healing up. I am testing my alkalinity daily, monitoring to make sure there isn't any fluctuations. Right now, it stays between a 9.2 and 9.0, and that's the only fluctuation. Everything is doing good. I had a little bit of die off with some Monty Cap, but nothing out of the ordinary, and that's it. Everything else is healing up pretty good, and hopefully it will look good and ready to go for Reefapalooza here at the end of the month. Besides that, the frag tank's doing good. I do plan on adding XR15s to replace the ship boxes that I have over here right now, and that's just kind of long-term stuff that I plan on doing. Now, moving on to the last topic here before we're almost done with this 15-minute video, and that is the 125-gallon planted tank. Right now, it's been test filling for about 2.5 to 3 weeks now, and it's good to go. There's no leaks. Everything's running great. I do have marine pier in the bottom, and I also have a piece of shrimp. I guess, yeah, I think it's shrimp or eel that's in the main display in a mesh bag that's been in there just kind of cycling that marine pier in the sump there. And basically what I'm going to do is go ahead and when we're done cycling, I'm ready to aquascape this with the natural dirt and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to go ahead and drain the tank out completely, also drain the sump out halfway, leaving that marine pier submerged so it'll be good to go and the beneficial bacteria will survive. And then I will go ahead and do my aquascaping, all that kind of stuff, fill it up, and then it should be ready to go within the next week or two to add fish once we get through that little mini spike of ammonia that we have with that natural substrate. But other than that, everything is good to go with that tank. I do have about $600 invested into this, which is relatively cheap considering the fact it's an entire system. Now, I will be doing a DIY canopy with, I think I'm going to go with about 12 of those 120 watt 5K LEDs from Home Depot. And I'll do like a mini hanging canopy like I did on the old 60-gallon tank and just really pump this thing full of CO2 and do a really nice planted tank with a few hundred neon tetras, maybe some other types of fish, and kind of see exactly how I want it to lay out. And it's going to be one of those things, I'm just going to play it by ear, and that's kind of how my planted tanks are. I get everything I need, what I think I want it to look like, and then it usually looks totally different at the end, but it always turns out pretty good. So we'll see how that is, and you guys should expect that build series in July. I will be finishing it up by then, guaranteed. So look forward to that. So we are about 14.5 minutes in. I am going to be done with this rambling video, again, for retention purposes. If you guys want the longer videos, let me know. I have no problem doing them. I just want people to stick around and watch the whole thing. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, let me know. If you have any suggestions for topics or videos that you want to see, go ahead and put that stuff in the comment section below. I'm always adding to the list of soon-to-be-made videos, so I'll be more than happy to add your topic to that. So either way, guys, I'll see you later. Peace.